Hi everyone, Graham Couch here from the Lansing State Journal along with my Detroit Free Press colleagues Chris Solari and Shawn Windsor. After Michigan State's offensive explosion in a 28-7 win over Tulsa here in the opener.
Describe it.
It was the game that it was the offense everybody had been waiting for unveiled, and wow, was it something.
Well, 28 points.
22 of them by the defense and special teams.
I know. That's the joke.
So
I know. I get the joke. I wanted to explain it.
So obviously we've sort of seen this before, right? This is the Michigan State dance.
We saw this 8 months ago in California.
Defense is incredible. Offense really struggled. Had a couple moments. First drive, pretty good, but the offensive line had no push. Got pushed back on the tackles, and those are the sort of things when you go back 3 seasons. Haven't changed as the year's gone on. I think that's got to be the concern. It's not like something that's developed. As
Yeah, and 303 yards against the Tulsa defense. That the defenses are only going to get better from here. Let's put it that way. They were good pass defense last year, but struggled. And they gave up a lot of yardage against the run. Michigan State, like you said, struggled. No A.J. Curry. It sounds like it's an ankle injury. And Mark Antonio talked about him being nicked up. Now all of a sudden you're at the same point you were at game 1 last year, shuffling around your offensive line. We've talked about this extensively. You want to try and get some cohesion up front, and D'Antonio said moving Matt Carrick to guard and then Kevin Jarvis to left tackle was the logical progression there. And Shawn, I don't know, but the fact that they don't have a second left tackle ready behind A.J. Curry, when you know that position is so important, is probably something that they're going to need to figure out soon.
Well, and Cole Truance is hurt too, right? But look,
they got to have a first left tackle.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
We don't know. Yeah, and that's the thing.
No, exactly. I mean, and Graham's right. If you want to be positive, I guess Brian Lewerke I thought looked a little bit better. He certainly looked more comfortable throwing on the run and scrambling, and got out and scrambled more.
Especially in the first couple drives.
That 15-yard run for a first down looked very vintage 2017. Quick feet out of trouble when they needed it.
It did. That was a scramble. That was not a design run. They did have a few design runs, which is fine. They had some of that last year. If we're going to talk real quickly, I mean, we waited 8 months to see something different. What was different? Okay, so he lined up in the shotgun a little bit more, I thought.
A lot more.
They included the running backs in the passing game a little bit more. And there was a little, I don't know about a lot more, but I mean, maybe
early
from
on,
none
first
to
couple
a little,
drives,
right?
yeah.
And then the tempo was a little bit different at different times. And D'Antonio said after the game, they're going to be more up-tempo.
Yeah, I don't know how much
I don't know what
saw.
that means. I mean, I saw a couple of series. I don't know what you saw, Graham, Mr. Football.
Yeah, it's
Mr. Basketball.
I mean, it ain't Chip Kelly's offense with tempo, is it?
No,
I mean, it's and that's the thing with the offensive line. Like, there's a certain level of talent. Like, Oklahoma just lost 4 guys to the NFL draft, and they're picked to be back in the playoff because the guys coming up behind them, it's a level of talent you're recruiting on the offensive line, and they haven't done that. They're still looking to replace Donovan Clark and Jack Conklin 4 years later, and they haven't figured out how to do it. And that's the base of the issue with the offense. And you can argue, yes, they don't have a Charles Rogers. They don't have a guy who scares people. But if you
they don't have a Felton Davis.
But frankly, if running backs are getting blown up in the backfield all the time, those guys don't have a chance to get a rhythm. You don't really know what you have either.
Right, and I think the other thing, you talk about this incoming class. I mean, none of the true freshmen played. No Dobbs, no Samac, no Duplain. Those are guys that they're expecting to be those building blocks for the future, but obviously not right now, at least not in this game. Now, are they going to be the guys moving forward? Because, obviously when you have injuries out of the gate, there's opportunities there. How quickly a guy like Devontae Dobbs can move along in the system and learn it just by enrolling in the fall, and I don't know. I mean, it's a tough position to learn, but he's got talent.
And the tricky part is, right, it's two-pronged, right? You might say, it's time to do something different with the run game and all that. But 2 years ago, they didn't get much of a push, but they protected Lewerke pretty well. And you can't, if you're able to do that at least, you can't just, you can't risk Lewerke by putting a freshman in there who may have a higher upside somewhere. It's a position where the cost of mistake is really bad.
Well, get back to Lewerke. 2 years ago, he scrambled much better and threw on the run much better, and that was good enough to get them to 10 wins. Can this team? I don't know. The defense is certainly better than it was 2 years ago. We'll see if they'll be as good as they were at the end of last year.
Yeah,
the cornerbacks aren't quite. I mean, we'll see. Josh Butler's good.
What's interesting is Josh Butler's solid. On this defense, solid is a weakness, and it's right where Tulsa attacked. And they're going to run into offensive lines that are better quarterbacks, better guys on the edge. They're not going to go after Josiah Scott. They know what that looks like. It's hard to run on this defense. They're going to go after Josh Butler. If Shakur Brown plays there, they're going to go after him. Those are the guys who are going to have to perform, because that's the question.
Well, and Mark D'Antonio talked about lack of execution and penalties and lack of discipline. I mean, Butler had 2 more penalties that were negated because of big plays that would have been 16 penalties. They had 14 penalties for 122 yards. Shakur Brown, the guy behind him, had 2 15-yarders on special teams. Those are the kind of things that, if your offense is struggling, you can't continue to do those sort of things. It just keeps you in bad field position. But Jake Hartbarger was back, and he was able to get him out of some of that.
And Matt Coughlin was great again.
Yes.
And then in the return game, I thought what you saw from Jalen Naylor was a hint of something that they haven't seen around here in a long time. And you could hear it in the crowd. When he took off, there is a level of anticipation you could hear. And so if you're winning those other two phases of the game, there are probably 8 wins on the schedule either way. The problem is you're sealing it. If that lie ain't gonna win in
that's the
Columbus
problem.
or Ann
Speaking
Arbor.
of Jalen Naylor, he's one of the few guys that has speed on the offensive side of the ball. And to me, really, how are you going to get these guys again in space? They talked about it all. The speedy guys in space. I'm trying to Laris Nelson. He's got some quick.
Had a
so
nice,
it took him to almost
nice
the fourth
crossing
quarter
route
to find Collins the ball. The running back Elijah Collins, right? Who's got some quick feet.
Yeah, and it was 8. I think it was the 18th carry that went for 7 yards for MSU's running backs. Not just quarter. That's against Tulsa. And I know they returned 8 guys and all that stuff, but that's not going to get easier.
That's a 3-9 team from a year ago.
Yeah, with a Vegas projection of 4.5 wins. Anyway, we will have a lot of coverage at freep.com, lsj.com, greenandwhite.com tonight, throughout the week. We'll talk to you soon.